Hello, welcome to the Health In Show, an affiliate program of Homeopathy World Community. You've come to the right place to tune in and participate with your comments and questions. Love is the greatest healer of all, but sometimes, in order to change our emotions, we must take action in other spheres of our lives. We speak with experts in alternative and complementary health fields and hope you will benefit in some small or great way. Remember, you are wherever your thoughts are. Make sure your thoughts are where you want to be. Welcome everyone to the Health In Show, an affiliate program of Homeopathy World Community. Our special guest today is Dr. Deepak Sharma of the Orbits Clinic in New Delhi, India, and he is our regular co-host to the show. Today is a special day in America. We are celebrating Labor Day. It is a beautiful holiday for those who want to take off from work because it sounds like the opposite of what it should be, but we are celebrating the workers on this national holiday that was created in 1894 to commemorate and honor the contributions of workers or laborers. And many women will feel a communion with the word labor, especially as it pertains to their womb and producing and creating children, bringing them into the world. This holiday was essentially created to celebrate the social and economic contributions of workers. I would like to say a quote from Abraham Lincoln. Labor Day is a glorious holiday because your child will be going back to school the next day. It would have been called Independence Day, but that name was already taken. And I just chuckled at that because probably when it was written, that was the holiday's tradition, but I know children are back to school before Labor Day today, and parents and mothers especially do appreciate when they get a holiday from having their children running around their feet. Now on to our special guest and all of his contributions. Dr. Deepak Sharma, I'm going to make an announcement if it's okay with him, was nominated as the new vice chair of the World Homeopathic Awareness Organization as of August 26, 2013. I assume that you are going to be holding that position. The World Homeopathic Awareness Organization is a nonprofit, non-governmental organization founded under the laws in the Netherlands since the 21st of November 2008, and it helps to create awareness about homeopathy around the world. And in previous years, Dr. Sharma has been a leading person in providing conferences and workshops and educational material. Dr. Sharma is the Executive Senior Consultant of Panacea Homeopathic Clinic, his Innovative Health Care Center. He is the Senior Consultant at Holy Child Nursing Home in East Delhi and Smile Care Polyclinic in Ghaziabad. I don't know how to pronounce all of these names, locations. He will forgive me because we have a little bit language barrier sometimes. And he has his own clinic. Is it the Orbits Clinic, or what is Anshuman Homeopathic Clinic? You have so many clinics, I can't keep track of all of them. 17?
Yes, the older. No, just 7.
Just 7?
Just 7.
Oh,
And
that's enough.
yes, and Anshuman Homeopathic Clinic is our older name, and now the brand name is Orbit Clinics.
I see. Okay. And Dr. Sharma, you have also written a book, written an article, Diabetes, Mellitus, and Homeopathy, and that's one of your specialties, I believe, which includes miasmatic background and contains a discussion on diabetes mellitus and its remedies with selected potencies. It was published in the Homeopathic Heritage, a monthly magazine, and also in a number of other venues. Dr. Sharma, do you still answer questions in the Health Harbinger, a monthly newsletter?
Yes.
Yes, he does that, and you write and help with the editing of the Dream Journal?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And you were awarded the Hahnemann Award in 2010, given by Dr. Bakshi and Dr. Singh in the presence of Dr. Walia, Finance Minister of Delhi Government. There was an annual function, the 255th birthday of Dr. Hahnemann, April 25th, 2010. And please go to all of the press releases, go to Homeopathy World Community to find out more about Dr. Sharma's work, and homeopathyonweb.com is where you can find him. He is an integral part of Homeopathy World Community, and we are going to be talking about this really important topic about uterine health for women, and I will just let you begin to tell us from the start to how to approach this topic.
Thank you, Ravi, and thank you so much, because I am the vice chair of the WHO, World Homeopathic Awareness Organization, just because of the Homeopathic World Community. I am very thankful to the Homeopathic World Community who always helps me and give many opportunity to promote my lectures via the Health In. So today we are begin with the common anatomy of the uterus. Then we will discuss what are the uterine fibers. Uterus is basically commonly called a womb also, and found in the female mammals, in all the female mammals. And the main function of the uterus is a primary target reproductive organ in the female. It's when we are talking about the humans, the uterus is very small in size. It's about 8 into 5 into 3 centimeter in the normal size, and it can be large up to a huge ball during the pregnancy. So it's a primary target organ of the reproduction. The uterus is covered by in the front covered with the urinary bladder in the front, covered with the rectum in the back, and it ends into the cervix and open into the vagina. It's a very contractile organ which having a tendency to expand up to a large extent with the help of myometrium. It has the three most prominent layers, which called the endometrium, myometrium, and the smooth muscles. So, what are the functions of the uterus? The main function in the fertile age of the female is to do the regular menstruation. Every month, in the 28 days of cycle, a inner lining called endometrium is forming from step to step, and it's increase up to the 15 to 18 mm in the size, and on the 28th day, on an average, it shed off with a bleeding. So it's a regular cycle. It's the main function of the uterus. And when the reproduction occurs, it occurs due to the ovum is inserted into the endometrium, and ovum comes from the uterus and the tubal junction of the ovaries and comes into the endometrium, and it's grow into a child. It become a child into a reproductive phase. So these are the basic function of the uterus, and I want to say that basically the abnormality in the uterus is always be done by the irregular contraction and relaxation. Basically, what are the contraction? These are the contraction, and these are the relaxations of the uterus, and it occurs during the menstruation, and during the whole menstrual cycle. So let us we must know about the normal physiology and anatomy to understand the fibroids. Now, what happened to the fibroids? Uh, when the main risk factors for the uterine fibroids are the obese person who are having the sedentary lifestyle, who are having more diabetic patient, more high blood pressure, and the irregular use of contraceptive pills, irregular uh, course of the OCPs, and the irregular use of intrauterine device. The female with the multipara or the multi-pregnancy is also having the more tendency to develop the fibroid. Now, where the fibroid is basically developed, I told you that it have three layers. The main layer of the myometrium is the middle layer of the uterus. It had a more tendency to develop a fibroid. Nobody can explain the how is fibroid is growing, but the many theories are explaining that irregular contraction and relaxation of the uterus is always cause a disturbance in the smooth muscle and the myometrium, and that cause a bulk in the myometrium. So it always cause a bulky uterus and then develop a fibroids. Fibroid is basically have any kind of tendency which develops anywhere in the uterus in the middle wall. Have mainly 80% of uterine fibroids are non-benign, non-cancerous in nature. It's always benign in 80% of cases. Only 20% having a very difficult nature of the fibroid which convert into the cancerous growth. So in Americans, if we are talking about the Americans, 235 million people, females, are affecting with the uterine fibroid in 2010. These are the data latest available on the net. That more than 235 million women are having uterine fibroid. And maximum the fibroids are developing into the age of 40 or the climatic age. Just because it's the irregular cycle of the menstruation and the irregular contraction and relaxation of the uterus. So these are the risk factors for the uterine fibroids, and more than I told you, more than 80% of the uterine fibroids are non-cancerous. So do not worry to think about the fibroids. It can be manageable by the treatment and some few exercises. Now, how the irregular menstruation causes the uterine fibroid? Number one, and the irregular menstruation is that the bleeding is flow on the either on the 21st day or either after the 35 days of the normal cycle. If it occurs more than 3 to 5 days with a amount of 20 ml, more than 20 ml blood per day, is always a trouble to the give a trouble to the uterus, and always give a contraction, a severe contraction to the uterus. This severe contraction gives a irregularity in the smooth muscles and then in the irregularity of the myometrium, and it gives a small growth. It's a in the abnormality of the smooth muscle, like that. These are the muscles. Those are working up and down during the contraction and relaxation, but few are overlapped, and then the fibroids are forming in the growth phase. So fibroid is always depend on the weakness of this myometrium muscle, which side of the uterus is more weak. So the types of fibroids is also depend on the size of the fibroid and where the fibroid is located. It may be located in the front side, it may be located in the posterior or back side, it may be occur into the upper side or just inside the cervix or in the junction of cervix. So it may be the possibility of the uterine fibroids. Basically, the main fibroids are intramural fibroids. Those are developed in the front side of the wall or in the posterior side of the wall. These are the most common types of fibroids occurs in the females. Now, the other types are subserous fibroid, submucosal fibroids, or the cervical fibroid. I told in the junction of the cervical and the uterus. Now, how we diagnose a case of uterine fibroid?
Wait, can I interrupt because we had
Yes.
questions in the chat about these contractions? Are they irregular? Are they to be expected in every single woman? I'm not sure the connection between these contractions and the formation of the fibroid.
No, what I want to say that when the uterus have the contraction and relaxation in the irregular phase, in the menopausal state, what happen into the uterus that endometrium is not forming on the smooth line. So the contraction and relaxation is always depend on the line of endometrium and the flow of the bleeding. So it always occur in the last phase of the menstrual cycle phase.
Okay. So, but it's normal. We have to have this phase of the menstruation with the contraction, which discharges the lining with the blood. I'm not getting the connection between this natural function of the uterus to go through the cycle and the development of fibroid. Can you repeat one more time?
Yes. You cannot think about this because what the basic physiology of uterus is saying that uterus is always contracting and relaxing in the various phases of the menstruation cycle. And when the menstrual cycle are irregular in the late phase of the life, in the maximum in the 40s, or the women who are using the irregular use of contraceptive pills, that any female, she is taking a oral contraceptive pill just to avoid menstruation, it always causes irregular contractions in the uterus and irregular balance in between the hormones estrogen and the progesterone.
Okay.
These are the basic factors which are releasing from the uterus and our body, which are controlling the normal relaxation and contraction of the uterus. Is always depend on the level of estrogen and progesterone.
Okay. So what you're getting at further is the root problem is with the hormones.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that is the root problem. And when the female is taking oral contraceptive without advice of the doctor or irregular and use of the intrauterine devices, they have more problem to develop the uterine fibroids.
Okay.
Now, we are coming to the sign and symptom. How you think relate, how you give a proper diagnosis of the symptoms or signs of the uterine fibroid. Basically, the huge bleeding or the irregular menstruation with the severe pain or the cramps in the lower abdomen are always the prime symptom of a uterine fibroid. I told, if a bleeding occurs more than 5 days or more than 20 ml per day or more than using 5 pads per day, is always occurs say in 80% chances of the uterine fibroids. Because uterine fibroid, what the uterus think, uterus is always aware of the abnormal things or the foreign body in itself. When it has any foreign body, it expels the bleeding in blood in in a huge amount. So it's a basic nature of the uterus. If any IUCD, intrauterine devices, or any nodule are forming in the uterus, they always expel the endometrium in the irregular ways. So this is the prime symptom. Irregular menstruation, lower abdominal cramps and pains, excess bleeding per vagina is the most prominent symptom, and these symptoms are also depend on the size of the fibroid and site of the fibroids. Now, what we are think about the homeopathy? If we correlate with the miasmatic concept of the uterine fibroids, these are coming in under the psychotic and syphilitic mind, or you can say psychosyphilitic mind. Maximum fibroids are 80% non-cancerous, so they are coming into the psychotic tendencies. If we are explaining the mias, it's basically a polluting agent into the humans, describing well by Dr. Henneman, or we can give another lecture for the miasm special. But when the psychotic miasm, what the psychotic miasm is said, um, psychotic miasm tendency is the overgrowth on anywhere in the body. It may growth into the nodule, into the uterus, or anywhere in the body. You can find out a nodule in the skin also. You can find out in the nodule in the bones also. Anywhere. It depends on the what kind of psychotic tendency the patient having. So these are the miasmatic concept of the uterine fibroids. And if we are talking about the treatment of homeopathic treatment of uterine fibroid, I always know that homeopathy is the best treatment for uterine fibroid. So many doctors in India are also have a clinical based practice. Those are practicing only on the diagnosis. I talk with this doctor, and they always says the clinical medicines, though you can prescribe on whole only on the diagnosis of the uterine fibroid, is the ammonium muriaticum natronatum. This medicine is very frequently repeated, can frequently repeated in the lower potency in the 3x or 6x under the supervision of any homeopathic doctor. And maximum doctors in India are using ammonium muriaticum natronatum in the lower potency with the constitutional remedy. And the other remedies are, the maximum group I found in the practice is calcarea, either calcarea iode, either calcarea carbs, calcarea sulf, calcarea fluor, calcarea phos. The other medicines are conium, phosphorus, silica, lachesis, kali carb, or kali iodica.
Okay, did you want to repeat those for those listening, or are you going to go and select a couple to talk about specifically with cases?
Yes, I can repeat the medicine, or but what I want to describe here, that we are practicing in the classical ways. What Henneman says and how the potencies are affecting. I am presenting here the 2 or 3 cases. Those are having the 100% cure of fibroids with a single dose. These are the cases.
I would like to see the single dose cure.
Yes, everyone likes. Everyone likes. So I am presenting a case of 45-year female, came with huge bleeding, referred by a renowned gynecologist in Delhi, with a ultrasound marking as a 85 into 88 millimeter intramural fibroid. It's about 8.5 into 8.8 centimeter. It's a small ball. The fibroid is on the front side of the wall of the uterus. The patient is basically presented with a generalized weakness, a very huge bleeding. She used 8 to 10 pads per day, and the bleeding is more than 15 days. our homeopathic allopathic gynecologist is failed to relieve her because her hemoglobin is so down. He has in the anemic phase and comes to me with a hemoglobin of only 6.0 milligram. That is the fascinating case, and she is also presenting with the low BP. She is also a diabetic. She is very pale but very calm. She is a very beautiful lady, and she is having a mild headaches. I prescribe on the basis of her nature, and I saw the ultrasound report, and it's on the left side of the wall. The fibroid is toward the left side of the wall, and I prescribe the causticum 1 m, 1 dose only. I repeat, causticum 1 m, 1 dose only. When I prescribe causticum 1 m, after 15 days, she again had a bleeding with a very huge amount of the blood, and with very clotted blood, with a brownish red type of clotted blood are coming from her vagina, but she is feeling good. She is not feeling the weakness in any kind of the bleeding flow, but the flow is for the 8 to 10 days only. It's not for the 15 days again.
Oh.
It's and I continue with the placebos, and after 4 months, when I repeat the ultrasound, the size of the uterine fibroid is 20 into 13 only. It's less than half of the size of the earlier. So this was the case, and I prescribed all again a placebos for few months. Then she felt a very weakness in the body after 3 or 4 months. Her BP is going down. His thirst is very low. Then I prescribed a dose of Gelsemium 30 just to cure about the weakness, and I prescribed the vitamin E in the capsule form to recover her hemoglobin and the blood amount. And on the 9th month of the ultrasound, it found no fibroids in the uterus.
And she had this for many years?
Yes, she is having more than 3 years.
Okay.
Because the gynecologist is fed up to treat her, so gynecologist is referring to me and said, "Doctor, you can what you can do in the fibroids." This was the first case which I got from the gynecologist, and then after this case, in a week, I am getting at least one case of the fibroid from this gynecologist. So
every week?
Yes, she is giving a lot of patient of uterine fibroid to me. She is also giving cases of the PCOD also.
Can you explain a little bit to the listeners, the viewers? I'm not sure. You selected causticum in a high potency to begin, and what was your thinking that led you to that decision?
Yes, that is a really good question, Avi. What I observe, basically, when you prescribe a medicine, you have two things. Number one, what you're getting from the papers, and second thing, what you observe from the patient. The observation is she's very intelligent. She's always having a artistic mind. She's always a very particular about the health, and she can her intelligence is very sharp, because she wants to know everything about the fibroids. She wants to know about the detail in the fibroids. So when we are considering about the observations, and we got the smartest patient, we always prefer the highest potency.
Okay.
That's why I choose the high potency. I know the huge bleeding after 15 days, maybe because of the high potency, but it was a clotted bleeding, and I always saw in my practice, whenever we are giving the constitutional remedy in a high potency, always a bleeding occur in a few days with a clotting.
Okay.
And maximum time I had a cured patient of the fibroids.
Okay, so I mean, I understand. So you're looking at the mental state of the person that you're observing right there, and a lot of other things go into making a decision. Now, if I go to the repertory, and maybe a different repertory has different remedies.
Yes.
So you're not strictly limiting yourself to the section. There's a section for genitalia female that you would look under indurations, which would be growths. And I do not see causticum listed. So this means that we cannot limit ourselves to looking under one rubric, but you must have looked at, perhaps if I had looked at something like profuse menstrual bleeding, that might have led me, I didn't look that up, that might have causticum. So I'm wondering if you used keynotes at all, or if you just saw this total picture with the anemia and the diabetes and on the left side.
I am seeing the whole picture. I am not going on the fibroids only. I am not seeing the fibroids. When a patient is coming to me, I always I had an observation that what the patient wants. Okay. First, I observe what the patient wants. Many patients are coming when in a hurry and say, "Doctor, this is my ultrasound only, and what you can do in this case." Okay. So I think, oh, she is a sulfur.
Say that again. Is she what?
She is a sulfur.
Oh, she's a sulfur because she's just hurry and just go in and say, "This is it," and give me a remedy. So that's this hurry. Okay. We have a question. Susanna is asking whether this woman had children, because there are a lot of factors. And you can see on the internet, I posted a really fantastic video from Dr. Jacoby, who explains about fibroids and what contributes to them, what kind of things like having children or age or other attributes. So she's asking, did this woman have children? And
yes.
And yes, she
did.
She's
having 3 children. Yes, she is having children, 3 child, and the age of this female is 45, and she is having fibroids since 5 years back, and she is coming in 2009.
Okay, so I guess there might be a lot of questions. For instance, Susanna also asks about getting fibroids after menopause.
No, never. Basically, what I told in the basic anatomy in the uterus, fibroids are only in the live uterus. It's before the menopause. After the menopause, if any female have fibroids, these are also going into the dead formation. So there will be no chance to get a fibroid after the menopause.
Because it's linked to your hormones.
Yes. If she is having a fibroid before menopause and it's growing after the menopause also, it's a cancerous.
Right.
It's a cancerous one.
Right. So the concern is for bleeding that occurs after menopause. That is an indication that there is a malignant growth.
Malignant growth. So you must aware about the basic physiology of the uterus.
Okay. So you have, I know, more cases you wanted to talk about?
Yes. And the next case is of 32-year female. And again come with a huge bleeding. But she's come with a very peculiar type of pain. she is having a very spasmodic pain in the lower back, which radiates from right to left, or on the next cycle it's radiated to left to right, and which settle down into the pubis around the rectum. This peculiar symptom I found, and I gave the Sabina 30C, only the 3 doses, and this will doing a wondering about the fibroid. The basic I prescribe Sabina on the clinical basis now. I am not taking the history for the whole picture, but I got a special picture of the Sabina, and William Borick always says Sabina promotes expulsion of moles from uterus. True, it's 100% true, and the basic nature of the Sabina, pain of Sabina, is radiate from lower back to the pubic region, and it radiates from right to left or left to right. So this was the peculiar symptom of the female.
Wonderful. I wish we had a photograph of the Sabina or Sabina, whatever you want to call it. It is a rust. It's a fungus. And Rochelle says she has used Sabina for bleeding in the past, and she also used the same thing. So, great.
When I open my repertory,
yeah,
and I see the calcarea iode is the best remedy to get rid of the tumors in the fibroids, but I had no experience with the calcarea iode, because I did not get any relief from the calcarea iode. It may be think that I was wrong to selecting calcarea iode in these cases, but many doctors in India are using calcarea iode in 3x in the fibroids, but I have no results with this medicine. What the medicine I am using in my practice in the general way, that I am using first in the clinic classical base on the personality, and when I have any patient who are having very low vitality, or she cannot afford the potencies, then I use the clinical medicines. The clinical medicines are, I told, ammonium muriaticum nitronatum, and the calcareous sulf in the lower potency, the conium in the 200 potency, and
what
the
was the
Kali
last one?
iode.
Aurum muriaticum natrum calsulf, and what was the other one?
Conium.
Conium. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And Kali iode.
Okay.
These are the basic features, basic clinical medicines we can use into the fibroids. But I never prescribe without seeing a patient, and I never, we are not prescribing here onto the show. I request to listeners that they are taking an advice from an expert homeopathic physician. They can never choose the homeopathic medicine without with the symptoms only.
Thank you. Why are you laughing?
You want above.
Oh, I know. We have a joker in the chat room. So there's a question about lapis albus from Dr. Kulbushan.
Okay. What is the question about the lapis alba? Okay, lapis alba is a medicine who is always having a nodules into the inside the deep of the skin. We have a patient basic on nodule on into the front of the forearm or into the front of the thighs, having a very nodular species a type of the swelling. Then the lapis alba is very effective. I never use the lapis alba in the uterine fibroids.
Okay. Do you have another remedy that you use primarily, that you have a case, or what would you like to teach us?
Yes. The next case is of my favorite remedy, that is lachesis.
Okay. That's because
This is
you
a
do
case.
you do dreams of snakes.
Yes, yes. So it's always been my favorite remedy, and it's a case of 23-year-old lady who is recently married and had a developing of the fibroids into the backside of the uterus wall, or you can say the posterior wall on the uterus, and she's having very jealousy from her parents, uh, and she's having always a left side of complaint. She's having a morning sickness, she's having a morning headaches, she's having a lot of disturbance during the sleep, and this was the again a case of lachesis. And when she's talking and talking and talking and give me lots of symptom in the various things, I asked
That's
her
like
about
that's like
I
a
asked
perfect lachesis.
yes, I asked about her in about 20 or 30 minutes. In the 20 or 30 minutes she is talking and talking and talking. So I think about the lachesis, and I prescribe only in the 30 potency.
Ooh.
I yes, and I give the water doses. She is a case in what I am doing a experiment. So how I giving a 30C potency, I put a 1 liter of the bottle. I am taking a 1 liter of bottle and put 1 drop of lachesis 30, and advised to take 1 teaspoonful of the water daily in the morning.
Okay.
And the water is uh, continuing for 1 month, and on the third month she is getting a very huge amount of blood with the clot on the third month. So there is no relief in the 2 or 3 months, but I give the regular prescription of that water dose for the 1 month, and on the third month she is receiving a very huge amount of blood with the clots. And on the fourth month, when I got a ultrasound, there will be no fibroids. She has nothing, and she is never pregnant. She is an unmarried girl. So fibroid
Was she
maybe
23 or 33?
23. She is 23 only.
23. Okay. And so when you do something like this, does it prevent further growths from occurring? And would this young girl have to take the remedy again in the future?
Yes, I am regular in the touch with all cases of the uterine fibroid, and first case I presented of that lady is have nothing in her uterus. She's I am going to the routine when I close the case. Where I suggest to every patient that she is doing ultrasound in every 6 or 8 months, so that we can find out how are the progress is going on. So I never had any fibroids after the treatment. I never get it back.
Very good. We have an unclear. Rochelle's asking, did she take the lachesis water dose for 1 month or for 4 months?
1 month.
Only
for 1 month.
Okay. She took it for 1 month.
Just because I prescribed 1 liter of water, and that 1 liter of water is continued for the 1 month. So and, patient did not told me that medicine are finished.
Okay, and I just have a general question. When you give the liter of water, does it need to be refrigerated, or can it be left out? And do you ask the person to tap the bottle or shake the bottle?
No. That was I did an experiment. I never had anything. I never give any instructions to patient. She and just told them that she can take 1 teaspoonful plain without shaking.
Interesting.
And without in the refrigerator. The water is on the always on the room temperature.
So it will not. You're not afraid of anything growing in it.
No.
Okay. We will learn. Have you ever tried? This is a question from Kathy. Have you ever tried a plant-based remedy? Well, conium is a plant-based remedy, like aloe. She says,
No.
I wouldn't
No.
think aloe would be.
Because I do not need to try these medicine. All cases are cured in these few remedies only.
Okay.
You always get a calcarea group in the 80% of cases. It may be the calcarea sulf, it may be the calcarea ioda, it may be the calcarea silicate also, it may be the calcarea phos or calcarea fluor. These are the only medicines I am using.
Can you give us, if we have the time, a case with the Aurum muriaticum natrum as one,
Yes.
and another one with one of the calcarea group, please?
Yes, definitely. Yes, this was a case of about 34-year female which have 2 children with a cesarean section, and she is having a huge amount of bleeding, but the pain was nothing. She is having no pain, but having the huge amount of the blood about for the 8 to 10 days. When she is coming into the clinic, she is in very hurry, and she is very particular about the allopathic treatment. So she is always asking about me that you just give me a medicine to get rid of this fibroid only, and I am not taking from you. She is always think that homeopathic physicians are using steroids.
Oh.
So that I prescribe the ammonium muriaticum natrium in the 3x, and advise her to take 1 tablet thrice in a day for 1 month and come back to me. After 1 month, when she came back to me, she is saying that she this time she is having more pain during the menstruation. So she asked me that what happened to my menstruation. It's are going a wrong way because she is having pain, and I explained that no, ma'am, the pain is must during the menstruation. The mild pain are the nature of the regular menstruation or the normal menstruation. So you just continue the medicine or a muriaticum natronatum, and for the next month, and take a ultrasound on the next month. After the 3 months, there will be no fibroid. There is no fibroid with only the single medicine.
She's willing to undergo more pain if she's having. I have had people who say, there's pain and I don't want to take any more. So what would you do?
Yes, basically during the menstruation, I never prescribed any medicine. Or Dr. Henneman said during the flow of the bleeding, there will be a little pain in the back or little pain into the lower abdomen. It's a normal physiology.
Okay.
So you never prescribe a remedy during the menstruation.
Okay.
And this is, but what I experienced in these cases, I always use a constitutional medicine on the day 5th of the menstruation or on the day 12th of the menstruation. These are the studies I am having, and nobody are studying about these types of cases, because we are very particular about the 5th or 12th day, because the 5th day having the maximum levels of the luteinizing hormone and the follicular stimulating hormone, and on the 12th day there is the maximum amount of the LH hormone, the luteinizing hormone.
Okay, so we have a woman in the chat who says you're a typical man because you have not experienced menstruation pains, and a woman who is suffering and crawling up into a fetus ball or screaming or is going to want something to relieve the pain.
Yes, first I want to explain that I am not a female and I never had the experience of the female menstruation, but I know the basic physiology. What the physiology says, the mild pain is occur. Sorry, only the mild pains are occur, not the severe pains. If you have the severe cramps
Okay.
or the severe pains, sorry, this is all about because of the sinusitis. Okay, so if you have a huge cramps or the severe abdominal cramps, then you need a vitamin E and the regular exercise of your lower abdomen.
Okay, so massage, heat packs, castor oil packs to get circulation. I've even read sitz baths. So you need movement and circulation of the blood throughout the lower part of the abdomen.
Definitely.
And you, something that you said earlier, that the intrauterine devices, they are using that to lessen bleeding in women purposefully. The OBGYN, they're using it to lessen bleeding, even though it will not change the fibroids, but supposedly this is a method to lessen the severity of pain.
Pardon, Debbie, I do not understand.
Okay. The OBGYN, the obstetricians, the gynecologists, they will prescribe the intrauterine devices to lessen the bleeding and lessen the pain. This is what I've read. And you were saying that it is not a good idea.
Yes, definitely. Intrauterine contraceptive device are having a more contraction when it places into the wrong place. Many obstetricians and gynecologists have just to do a lessen the menstruation, but it always have a side effect into the future. That is why many gynecologists or the obstetrician have never used the IUCDs.
Okay. Rochelle is asking again, what quantity of vitamin E is recommended typically?
That is 400 milligram per day.
Okay. And there are probably natural methods for you to get vitamin E, and I would highly look into whole foods, eating natural, complete organic foods. This is the best, as opposed to any kind of synthetics you don't want to usually take. And so there are only specific companies that have the vitamin E oil that are natural.
Yes, definitely. But source of vitamin E is very rare. You cannot find the whole amount of vitamin E into any vegetable or any oil. So you just purchase a 400 milligram capsule or in any other form and just take it.
Okay. Well, we're going to all experiment with that. And I know that years ago, I did purchase vitamin E, and I got it from a very special company because I remember it was the most natural it could be. And so investigate and get references from some other people who are using vitamins. Dr. Kubushan says that turmeric powder has magical powers. And also there was like, I don't know whether it was Dr. Bob, was it thousands of research papers on turmeric? They are very powerful, and I just watched a program with Sayurji from Green Med Info, who talked all about this as one of the primary food spices that it's a root that you should be eating probably every single day.
Yes, definitely. I am always recommended that if you are not living without medicine, if you want to living without medicine, just take 1 teaspoonful of the turmeric once in a week, and you become a healthy person.
Okay, we have only a few more minutes. Do you think you can squeeze in one more case. We didn't hear a calcarea.
Yes, definitely. So this is a case of one very healthy woman. It's about 104 kg of the weight. She's looking very plethoric, having huge amount of the blood for 8 to 10 days, and she is coming again from that gynecologist. And on the basis of this, her personality, she is having a more sweat on the face. She is having a more sweating on to the neck. This may be the because of vitamin D deficiency, but it have a peculiar symptom of about a
Yeah,
desire of
Shelley
potato.
said it.
Desire, she's having desire of potato in a very huge amount, and but the symptoms are she's not constipated, and she is having a heat from the palms and the soles.
Palms, sweat or
She's
heat?
heat from the palms and the soles. She's having very difficult breathing on every attempt of the walk. In this case, I use the calcarea sulf in the 200 potency, one dose, and then wait for it 8 to 10 days. But her bleeding was not stopped. Her bleeding was continued, but having some clots. Then, so for stopping the blood, I prescribe the ammonium muriaticum nitrogennatum in the lower potency and continue with the same potency for 1 month. She's having a fibroid
Did you do 2 remedies at that time or
no,
just one remedy?
No. After the 10 days.
Okay.
After the 10 days of calcarea sulf 200, I used ammonium muriaticum nitrogennatum 3x, 1 tablet thrice in a day for 1 month. She's currently having a treatment. She's on the size of the uterine fibroid was 28 mm, and now it's 18 mm after the 3 months of treatment. She's under treatment now. So in this case, I use the calcarea sulf just because the main symptoms are from the calcarea, and the 2 symptoms I got from the sulfur, the heat from the palms and soles, and the other symptom is from the breathlessness on every attempt of walking. That's why I'm using the calcarea sulf.
Okay. We're just about out of we're just about out of time, and this is really great. If you have a whole bunch more of these types of cases, and everybody who's listening today wants to learn more, we can do this again sometime in the future, because I know you love to do experiments and gather data and just see. I mean, you're so innovative and creative to think up, okay, let us find out what's happening in relationship to the hormone cycle and the fibroids. Where is there a synchronicity? What is or not in sync? And finding out. So when is the best time to give a remedy? And we know the same thing is true. These circadian rhythms, these natural rhythms of the universe, when the sun sets and the time of the month, it's all really, really important. So if you go for surgery, you want to go in the morning when your surgeon is most alert and stuff like that. And there are certain days of the week and there are certain days of the month, which you will get the best results for taking remedies, for planting in the ground, for harvesting, just about everything. And it sounds like you're really into this. We have a question from Amnon. Do you have a question?
No, I'm being answered.
Oh, you're answering. Okay, I'm sorry. Also, I wanted to mention upcoming show. So please give us tons and tons of feedback. If you want to even sponsor these shows, we would love to have the name of your clinic or something about you on one of the banners up there on that page. That would be really fantastic for this whole program and for the Nissan Communications channel. Next week, September 9th, Nancy Gales, past president, is going to talk about the power of self-care, a common sense guide to your wellness solution, How Homeopathy Promotes Wellness and Saves You Money. On September 16th, Linnea Hahn, an old friend of mine who has been doing full spectrum lighting for many, many years and innovative in this technology. She's going to talk about how full spectrum lights brighten your life and address the issue that many people have today about mercury in the light bulbs. On September 23rd, Kate Birch, who is a specialist in vaccination, homeoprophylaxis, and she's going to talk probably about herd immunity. On Thursday on Blog Talk Radio, I will always be there with Alan Phillips at 1 p.m. talking about vaccinations and your rights in the United States. I'm going to give a quote for our special co-host, Dr. Deepak Sharma. This is from St. Francis of Assisi, who said, "He who works with his hands is a laborer. He who works with his hands and his head is a craftsman. He who works with his hands and his head and his heart is an artist." And that is in dedication to you, Dr. Sharma, the artist. Thank you, Amnon, for providing this venue, this platform for enlightening the world about the benefits of homeopathy and self-healing. Do you have something to say at the end of the show?
I always say thank you to everyone, and thanks to my patients who are taking treatment for me. So thanks everyone. Thank you, Amnan.
And stay tuned.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And stay tuned because Marilyn Shannon's going to be up at 1 o'clock, just in a short amount of time, talking with John Searle, who is a professor and philosopher, all about your consciousness and awareness. And we are not robots, and we cannot be reproduced. So learn about artificial intelligence with him. Bye-bye, everyone. We love you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Sundays, 9 a.m. till noon. Carrie's Psychic Cafe with Carrie Silkowski, Sundays, 8 till 9 p.m. Health In with Debbie Bruck, Mondays, 11 a.m. till noon. Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Mondays, 1 till 2 p.m. Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, the second and fourth Wednesday of each month from 7:30 till 8:30 p.m. Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, Wednesdays, 9 till 10 p.m. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by thatvidblasterguy.com, carolinaapparel.com, and deltaforce.net.